We'll take a roll call. Mr. Salinas?
Present, sir, and thank you everybody for taking of your summertime to come and join us. Thank you.
Ms. Purcell is on vacation. She'll be absent tonight. Dr. Salinas?
Present.
Mr. Macias?
President, and I just want to take a moment to say thank you, Jill, for coming to see your dad at this one board meeting she attends a year.
Mr. LaFoyle?
Here.
Mr. Flores?
Present.
And I'm Steve Salyer, Board President. Dr. Matoy will not be with us tonight, so I got the next best thing right here, Ms. Barra, okay?
Good evening.
Okay. Would you all please stand for a moment of silence for the student we lost this week, and invocation by Ms. Barra.
Dear Lord, thank you for all the blessings that you've given us. Be with us this evening as we gather tonight and to make decisions for the best interest of our students and our staff. Please guide us, give us wisdom, and protect us as we come together to make these decisions. We ask this in your name, dear Lord. Amen.
Amen. We pledge allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Please be seated. Okay. Okay, I'm very pleased that you have taken time to join us this evening. As the Judson Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals and policies and oversee the management of the district. We are responsible for approving budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and to listen to reports from the superintendent. We are not here to make administrative or management decisions pertaining to the daily operation of the district. This is the responsibility of the superintendent. In compliance with the state government code on open meetings, tonight's agenda has been appropriately posted. This is a meeting in the public, not a meeting of the public. As our guest, you are welcome to observe and listen. These proceedings are being videoed and audio recorded and will become part of Judson's permanent legal record. In order that the tape adequately reflects these proceedings, please silence your mobile device and refrain from talking while others are speaking. Since it's legally mandated that these proceedings are recorded accurately, I may have to ask periodically, should I notice disruptions are interfering with our recording capabilities. Once again, I extend to each of you a sincere welcome from the entire board. Thank you for your interest in Judson ISD. Okay, moving right along. Thanks everybody for coming on a hot July night. I know you got better things to do, like be in the pool. Okay, we have no citizens to be heard. I don't think we got anybody to recognize, and we have no awards. So let's move on, okay? Let's go to 4A. Board members who want something pulled, say pull. 4A, consider and take action regarding approving minutes of the regular board meeting held on February 18th, March 24th, April 21st, and June 23rd, 2016. 4B, consider and take action regarding approving minutes from the special board meetings held on February 11th, June 7th, June 9th, June 11th, and June 23rd. 4C, consider and take action regarding approving monthly financial information as of June 30th, 2016. Consider and take action regarding approving the cash investment report, all funds as of June 30th, 2016. Consider and take action regarding approving the expenditures equal to or greater than $50,000. 4F, consider and take action regarding approving cooperative purchase management fees report. 4G, consider and take action regarding approving request for proposal 16-18 for third-party claims, administrative workers' compensation insurance. 4H has been pulled. 4I, consider and take action approving update to FEB local attendance accounting, second reading. 4J, consider and take action regarding a cooperative program agreement with the University of Texas at San Antonio concerning establishment of a cybersecurity academy. 4K, consider and take action approving an order by the Board of Trustees of Judson Independent School District authorizing the issuance of Judson Independent School District Unlimited Tax School Building Refunding Bond Series 2016, leveling a continuing direct annual ad valorem tax for the payment of the bonds, prescribing the form, terms, conditions, and resolving other matters incident and related to the issuance, sale, delivery of the bonds. including the approval and distribution of an official statement pertaining to thereto, authorizing the execution of paying agent register agreement as escrow and trust agreement, and a purchase contract complying with the letter of representation on file with the depository trust company, delegating the authority to certain members of the Board of Trustees and district shall approve and execute certain documents relating to the sale of bonds, providing effective date. You're going to make me read that again, aren't you, Mr. Messi? You gotta be, it's 24 pages, basically. Yeah, it's long, it's all legal bond stuff, it's murder. Okay, 4L, consider take possible action regarding approving a resolution relating to, I'm L, I am L. Consider and take possible action regarding approving a resolution relating to establish the Judson Independent School District intention to reimburse itself for a prior lawful expenditure of funds relating to acquiring and equipping various new school buses from the proceeds of obligations to the insured by the district for authorized purposes, authorizing other matters in incident and related thereto, providing an effective date. Okay. Hold on. We're voting on 4, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I, and L. Now, Mr. Foyle, can I have a motion, please?
Oh, yes, motion.
Second? Second. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. 4J. 4J, Mr. Macias pulled this one. Consider and take action regarding approving a cooperative program agreement with the University of Texas at San Antonio concerning the establishment of a cybersecurity academy. Can I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion second. Got it. Okay, Mr. Macias, you pulled that one.
Yeah, just a real quick question. We're partnering with UTSA. Is that going to limit any other collaborations with other universities or colleges regarding cybersecurity?
No. No, it's not, and we'll let Dr. Cantu answer that.
No, Mr. Macias, this will not limit any other partnerships that we have with other entities or higher institutions.
Okay, and this is in response to the career readiness track that we're working towards for our students as well?
Yes, we have, this program will also align very well with our students in the technology area. This cybersecurity program is going to be open to 50 students maximum, and it is for our Judson students. They'll begin the freshman year with a camp at UTSA, and then the sophomore year with a second camp, and then they will begin the courses the junior and senior year, so they'll have that certification.
That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Any more questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 4K, I got to read it again. Consider and take action regarding approving an order by the Board of Trustees of Judson Independent School District authorizing the issuance of Judson Independent School District Unlimited Tax School Building and Refunding Bond Series 2016, leveling a continuing direct annual ad valorem tax for the purpose of the bonds, prescribing the form, terms, conditions, and resolving other matters incident and related to the issuance, sale, and delivery of bonds, including and approving and distribution of an official statement pertaining thereof, authorizing the execution of the paying agent registered agreement and escrow and trust agreement of a purchasing contract complying with the letter of representation on file in the depository trust company, delegating the authority to certain members of the Board of Trustees and district staff to approve the execute certain documents relating to the sale of bonds and providing effective date. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
There we go. Mr. Macias, you pulled that one.
And Mr. Celia, my most humblest apologies for having to read that twice. My question was just simply regarding some legal language stating, I believe, towards the end of this agenda item, delegating the authority to certain board members of the Board of Trustees. Should it perhaps read board president or?
That's what it does. It's the board president, secretary, the only two people who can approve signed
Okay.
contracts.
So, and certain board members, I guess, just,
The board president and the secretary.
So that
They're the
opens
two
it
that
up to
sign
both
all
of
legal
those?
documents.
okay. That was my only thing, because it
Okay.
just seemed really open when it said certain board
That's
members.
by policy, that's, by law, it's the only two
No, and
people who can sign.
I understand that.
Okay.
That's all I had.
Okay.
Again,
Any other questions?
that was it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's go on 5D. Consider consideration of action items. 5A, consider and take possible action regarding the early college high school memorandum of understanding with Alamo Community Colleges for Judson High School, Wagner High School, and Veterans Memorial High School. Doctor, we got to talk. Go ahead. You want to make a motion? We're discussing.
We're discussing.
When you make a motion,
Yeah.
then you get a second, then you
Right,
discuss.
right. You ready for a motion? I have a motion,
Motion.
second,
Second,
discussion.
okay.
Mr. Barra?
Okay, what we have here is we have come into an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding Agreement with all the colleges, and in this case, it's with the Alamo colleges. And they are providing services for our students for their first 2 years. And they are on track to continue their studies with either Texas A&M San Antonio, Wayland Baptist afterwards, or any other college around here that they would like to go to.
This just expands more opportunities, is what it is. Broader
Yes.
opportunity.
That is correct. The program we currently have at JECA has been a very successful program, so this extends it to the other 3 high schools as we were newly designated by the state of Texas.
Mr. Salinas?
Thank you, Mr. President. We have 3 memorandum of understanding from the San Antonio College, Alamo Community College District, but yet they mentioned, I believe, UTSA, Wayland, and Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, yes, sir.
So why do we have to make them out to Alamo Community College District?
Okay, initially, we had gone with San Antonio, with the University of Texas, San Antonio, Texas A&M, and Wayland College.
Yes.
As we continued our talks, one of the things that we found out is that Alamo colleges could provide the service for us almost free of charge for our students. They would get their associates, like our students at JECA do.
Okay.
And so that would alleviate our students moving on to higher ed once they finish the colleges there.
But at one time, we were told that this was presented to the Alamo Community College District, and they said, we want no part of it, we already have JECA. All of a sudden, they had a change of heart and said, oh, wait a minute, we want all of them. Is that correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
It was in conversation, Mr. Salinas. What happened is that I think Alamo Colleges was thinking that we were looking at 200 to 300 students per campus. When they found out that we're starting small, not only are we starting small with a smaller number, we're not starting in August. We're starting to do the visits to those colleges then, and then we're moving forward as they continue in the spring semester or the fall of the following year.
What was the reaction of the other Texas A&M, Wayland, and UTSA?
We actually had a conversation with all of them.
Okay.
One of the concerns that we had at the time was, what are we going to do now that we've established all these relationships? And when they found out that it was really an opportunity, a better opportunity for our students to continue their pathway once they left the first 2 years with an associate's, most of them were very understanding because they realized that it was a cost savings for the district and it was better opportunities for our students as well.
I just didn't want those colleges to have their feelings hurt or something. But if it was discussed and everything,
Actually-
I have no problem, and I'm very proud of all the staff and Dr. Montoya for bringing the early college to all the high schools. And I've had 2 parents already that are very
Excited.
happy. They're ready for their kids to get started. This is wonderful for our kids.
We
Thank you
had-
very much.
We had a conversation with everyone at the table, either through the phone but everyone was involved in this decision.
Okay, thank you. I feel much better now. Thank you.
Mr. Macias?
Yes, and Mr. Salinas did ask, I think, something. Just wanted to reaffirm that I heard this correctly. So we did initially have conversations with the University of Texas San Antonio, A&M, Wayland Baptist, and through the maturity of the conversation, kind of looked at the opportunity with Alamo colleges. They've done a great job at our JECA program, and so what I'm looking at with these MOUs is that they will be able to replicate that to some degree at each of those campuses now.
Yes, they're very similar. We used the JECA MOU to guide us in writing this other ones.
And one thing that I remember recently with our MOU with JECA is there was actually an increased fee that the Alamo colleges had given or charged us due to administrative fees. Was this, I haven't looked at every line in this MOU, but are we anticipating increases due
Mr.
to the
Macias,
increased schools?
That has come up like almost every year, and that has not, they have not really been successful in getting that fee going, although it's still not out of the books completely. They could maybe come up this year and say, yes, we're going to have to charge a fee. At this point, we don't know because there are other districts that are involved in this decision as well. Before they, they can't just charge Judson ISD, they have to charge San Antonio ISD or other districts that they work with.
So do we have a clause here? I mean, they say we want to charge you $1 million per each campus. Do we have a way to kind of back? I know they're not going to, but.
No. That comes out in our, what's that called, as shared student
Shared
services.
services agreement.
Yes, the shared services. On that one, we're a little bit more explicit as to what the charges are. And you will be given a copy of that as well before we move forward.
Okay, just a couple more questions. The expectation then is that this is a model similar to JECA. So our students at Wagner, Veterans Memorial High School, Judson High School, will finish associate's degrees worth of program when they graduate?
That's correct.
That is, okay. And do we have the opportunity to expand our enrollment? You had mentioned 200-300 students, but at some point, once we get the foundation of this program going, have the ability to increase our enrollment in the program?
Yes, right now, the students that are being admitted into this program are being vetted by the principals. And so it is a very limited number of students because, again, they have to get the TSI, pass their TSI. So we want to make sure that the students that we include in this program, that we're able to support them and make sure that they're successful.
And you can assure me that our relationships with the previous universities that we were discussing is not labored in any way, shape, or form?
No, like I said, all of them, actually, they thought it was, for the most part, it was a good idea. Dr. Cantu, would you like to elaborate on that?
Yes, one of the things that we did is we had a big meeting with, excuse me, we had everyone at the table, and one of the things that we discussed is we still want them as partners. What we want our students, we wanted to offer all our students opportunity to earn an associate's degree. But after that, we're working with Alamo colleges to make sure that we create those pathways in the course alignment so that the courses that they take at Alamo colleges are in those preferred careers that they want to pursue at either Wayland or Texas A&M. So we are going to be working on those pathways. So they're still our partners, and they'll be working with us as they finish with Alamo colleges and earn their associates.
And again, this isn't a dual credit type thing. This is an actual associate's degree.
Associate's
Correct.
degree, yes.
All right, thank you.
Dr. Salinas?
Sure. My question is about the number of students. When I'm reading 150 students in grade 9 on a yearly basis, that's per campus, or is that total for all 3 campuses?
That is for each campus, ma'am.
Okay, and if you're not enrolled in 9th grade, you can't join the cohort after that? So if
Correct.
you're not selected as a 9th grader, you're not ever allowed, you're not able to?
There's some provisions that if they've fallen behind, for example, they want to come in at the second part of the 9th grade year, so they've missed 1 or 2 courses, then there's some provisions that they can catch up. But if it's at the point that they've missed or they're falling behind 6, 7 courses, then it would be very challenging for
Right,
them.
but if you're not selected in your freshman year, you cannot enroll after that?
Correct. They stay in a cohort.
And if you are in Veterans Memorial and you move to Judson High School your junior year?
I think that is one of the advantages. If they are in the early college at Veterans Memorial and then they go to a different school, because we're partnered with Alamo colleges, I do not think that it would be a problem.
Okay, and then Ms. Berry, you mentioned that principals are vetting. Do we have a rubric of what we're using? I already know of a parent whose child was not selected, And of course, they want to know why, and of course, we want to look at demographics, and are we being fair and equitable?
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
and can we get a copy of that? Not now, but obviously, maybe next time.
Yes, there is a rubric that was used, and that was something that we worked with the principals to make sure, and it was a fair process in the student selection process. So there is a rubric that was completed for each student, and we'd be happy to share that information.
And then if you don't get selected, is there a waiting list? So if somebody's selected and they don't get in, do we have?
Yes, as a matter of fact, one of the things that JECA has been doing, and we plan to continue to do that, is they always select up to 5 alternates, and they go through the summer bridge program, so that if they have any students that decide for whatever reason not to continue, they've got those kids already, they've already participated through the summer program.
Okay. And every campus this year is selecting 150 ninth graders?
No, we have, for example, at Veterans Memorial, as you know, the numbers are lower, so we're starting with 20 students there. At Wagner High School, we have 80, and at Judson High School, we have 70.
And how many freshmen are going to Veterans Memorial that we're only selecting 20 ninth graders?
I don't have that number in front of me.
I believe Ms. Clark is here.
How many? Out of 400, we're only selecting 20 for an early college opportunity. Hold on, I'm going to do the math.
Is that 400 freshmen or overall? Okay.
400 freshmen, we're not even doing 1% of the student population? For Veterans Memorial, 20 students only?
I
The
think this
students
is,
have to choose, have to.
Right, but I already know of a
choose.
student who didn't get selected, and we're only selecting 20, when we can take 150. And I get it, not everybody is going to make it, I understand that. What about the other schools? Are we not even taking 1% of the freshmen at the other schools?
I don't have the numbers for the
I
freshman
wasn't,
student.
when this was brought to, at least our attention, I was under the impression that this was a great opportunity for all students, if they were interested. Right now, when I'm looking at the numbers, I'm like, okay, no, it's a very select number of students, not even 1%. It's 0.5%.
My understanding, Dr. Salinas, is that at every campus, and I had the opportunity to attend some of these sessions, at every campus, we had presentations to the students about the early college. At the presentations, the students were encouraged to apply, and the students that applied then went through the selection process.
Absolutely.
And so I don't have the numbers exactly how many applied, how many got selected. I can certainly bring that back to you, but I can tell you that every student that expressed an interest was considered, for entry into the early college. I can bring those numbers to you.
Just my opinion, 20 out of 400 is not, for me, not acceptable, but.
Let's look at it. It's better, see what.
I'll make a note so that we can revisit that.
Mr. Flores, you done?
Thank you.
Mr. Flores?
Yeah, I have those same concerns too about the numbers. When you talk to these kids, do you have students that are at JECA talking to them? To making their presentation, saying what they're getting out of it, even though they're not going to JECA, but they're going to be receiving some of the same type of education?
We did have some students involved from
recruiting?
JECA to try and help with the recruitment process.
Right. And as part of the rubric, is that still first college member of the family?
That is correct, sir.
Okay, but,
That's one of the criteria.
right, but still, that's, when you have 400 at Veterans Memorial, I just can't understand that there wouldn't be more parents clamoring to get this done, but.
We'll revisit the Veterans
Okay.
Memorial.
Thank you.
Mr. Salinas?
Yes, same question like Mr. Flores. So you're telling me that at the Veterans Memorial, out of 400 freshmen, only 20 showed interest? That's what they're saying. She said, whoever applied.
Somebody didn't
Right.
get selected, so it's 21 at least.
No,
No,
they said
Yeah.
whoever applied,
no.
and only 20 students applied?
And Mr. Salinas, I was reminded of something that I think could be a factor, and Ms. Clark, if you need to jump in, please do so. But when we first started with the number of students, we were still with Wayland at that time, and the cost was a little higher at that time. And so this is an opportunity, now that we know we're going to go with Alamo colleges, this is an opportunity to revisit and see if we can include more numbers or more students.
That's what it was.
No,
It
wait
was
a
a
minute.
cost.
What do you mean, because they knew we were gonna have 150 per campus. That's 450? Yeah. Right? And you're saying Alamo College, you said, well, the 300 or something, but that's not, what is the agreement? How many are they willing to accept?
150.
Okay.
Up to maximum of 150.
So I think we need to revisit before August, or when the kids come in, give it another visit, because I don't think they're gonna start right away.
So
Is
one
that
of-
correct, Ms. Vera, that they're not
Yes.
gonna start right away?
But one of the things that we will need for today, we need to agree on the memorandum of understanding.
I don't have a problem
We
with the
can
memo
open
of
up the numbers,
understanding.
but right now, as far, TEA would like to know that we are working with higher ed universities
Yeah.
to ensure that, so for tonight, we can do that. We can come back with an amended MOU to increase the numbers at our next meeting.
But the
The MOU
MOU
is fine.
is fine, because we said up to 150 per campus. That's the problem I'm having.
Ms. Clark, do you have something? Ms. Clark, give us some info.
I just want to clarify the 20 number. Originally, when we were partnering with Wayland Baptist and the cost of per credit hour for each student over the four-year period for a student to earn their associate's degree, it was going to be approximately $120,000 for those 20. So we did limit it that first year. Wayland Baptist also had asked us to limit the number of students because it was going to be their first foray into partnering into an early college high school as well. We did have more than 20 applicants. We had closer to 40. So we accepted 5% in, which is the 20 number. But when we're looking at the criteria from the Texas Education Agency on the students that we admit into the early college high school, it's the students at risk, the first-time college goers, and so that's how, that was a major part of the rubric and how we made those determinations for the students who were enrolled into the early college high school. But now with the shift over to Alamo Community Colleges, that does give us an opportunity to revisit the rest of those students who were not admitted based on that criteria with Wayland, with the criteria set out by TEA to look at expanding the number of students that we're able to service through the early college high school. So that's why we were at the 20 and selected that based on around the 40% who had applied originally. Okay.
Mr. Macias? anything?
I'm not
Oh,
finished.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. I feel much better now. Thank you. We're going to
Thank you.
revisit. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Macias?
Yeah, the irony, though, is that Veterans Memorial does have that 0.05%, which is higher. When I did do the math on Wagner and Judson's at 0.019, and Wagner is at 0.36. So Veterans Memorial does have a higher percentage of students going into this early college than comparatively Judson and Wagner right now, the percentage. The numbers we don't. Yeah, so sort of just to put it out there, the discussion and the vision of the early college is that JECA is limited. There's only so many students that can go into the program. We wanted to incorporate an early college that could be, as Dr. Salinas said, expanded to all of our students, hence our excitement about doing that. The cost per student is higher at JECA because it is a smaller campus with administrators. So if we're able to successfully increase the enrollment in the early college programs at the high schools, it's not going to be at the same cost per student. It'll be less, and we will achieve actually more students with their associate's degrees. So you mentioned about revisiting the MOUs for potential expansion, but for enrollment, not revisiting them later, but revisiting them. We'll be able to do that. We're not going to tie ourselves in a situation where we already approved and we won't be able to amend it based on the enrollment.
No.
That's my only concern, because it says 150 here on all of the MOUs. And so once we say we approve it, we're locked in at 150, and we go back to change it, there's going to be some difficulties with that.
We're not locked in.
I think 150 is a reasonable number to expect, Mr. Macias. And I think if we go ahead and agree with that, if in the future we want to amend it, we can always bring it back to the board and make those changes for you.
And I'll tell you, as I'm thinking about that, the only rationale behind that is that it's still a program in its infancy. We are beginning to implement the program. We do need to start this off. So I would be highly interested in revisiting it so we can increase enrollment, but certainly starting the program. But as Dr. Salinas said, maybe we can do something about Veterans Memorial to increase the amount of students there.
And for right now, for purposes of TEA, they need to make sure that the board is aware that we have come into some kind of agreement with the higher university, and that's really the purpose of today's MOUs.
Mr. Flores?
Yeah, one quick question is, do we have time to increase the numbers to go back to visit with the students that are interested in this? I mean, here we are at the end of July.
We have a large number of students that have expressed an interest. Again, we had gone through the vetting process, but what we can do is look at that list again, and I can meet with the principals, and actually they're here if you would like to ask.
No, I do want to
But-
make sure, I mean, if we're looking to increase the numbers, I mean, there's a vetting process that we have to go through, and it
Yes.
takes time. It doesn't happen automatically. I mean, we can go back and revisit with those people that didn't get in because of the change in our agreement now. But I just want to make sure that we give the people their chance.
Well, the wonderful thing about this is that we do have a person that is totally in charge of the early college program. We have, every school has designated a director, one of their assistant principals, to be solely responsible, along with their other duties. They're not just going to, but to be responsible for looking at the student enrollment.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Salinas?
Mr. President, call for the question.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 5B, consider and take possible action regarding approving and update recommendations to the International Baccalaureate Program. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Okay.
Mr. President, one of the things that we have during our last program review, several of you had some questions about our IB program and gave us a task to really look at the program and determine whether or not it was an effective program for our students. We did look at it, and Dr. Cantu has come up with a plan to share with you tonight.
Yes, as a follow-up from that program review meeting, we went back and looked at the IB program and did a comprehensive analysis. And what I'd like to share with you is that analysis and also the recommendations that we have for you. So when you look at this, what I'd like to start is by providing you an update. What is it? Where are we right now? Then we'll talk a little bit about the evaluation or the analysis that we did for this program. The next thing we'll do is we'll have some recommendations, and we'll also discuss the implications it has for our district, and then some next steps. So when I provide an update here, I started with the facts. We know that this program started slightly before 1990. It started actually in 1986, and the first cohort of students tested in 1987. However, we don't have data for those early years. However, the data that we do have, beginning in 1990, we have, for the last 26 years, a total of 450 candidates participated in the program. A total of 116 students were identified as diploma candidates, of which 59 diplomas have been awarded. I will remind the board that the goal of the IB program is to have the students earn the diploma. So when you look at the 59 students, that's what you want to pay attention to here. In 2016, there was a clarification that was requested on the investment return. This picture here, or the display here, is to just emphasize that one of the things that we looked at is we looked at the financial implications, we looked at student participation, we looked at curriculum options, and of course all that because we want our students to be successful. So what you have here in this report is the financial implications. And when you look at the financial implications, in this visual, you can see that beginning in 2013, 2014, all the way to 2016, 17, the projected, the funding continues to increase every year. The trend it's estimated to increase to 81,915 in the next 2 years. The budget, it's important to identify, does not include the teachers or the FTEs, what we know as FTEs. You also see the increase. Some of this increase is because we have focused, and I do want to acknowledge that at one time the focus was not on the diploma. And the last couple years, there has been a focus on the diploma, the students earning a diploma, so that will increase the budget. This visual right here, or this graph, is to show you the 9th grade student participation. And you can see the blue columns are 2013, 2014. The red column is a 14-15. The green is a 15-16, and the purple is 16-17. At the far right, you see the totals. So if you look at the 9th grade student participation, it declined from 49 students in 2013 to 39 students in 2016-17. That's projected. It declined to the 36 and then 39. However, it's important to note that even though that the student participation has declined, the diploma candidates has increased. Let's look at 10th grade. 10th grade, you have the same years, and you can see that 10th grade student participation decreased from last year, but it increased compared to 4 years ago. So if you look at 4 years ago, at the far right, the totals, you have 27 students in 10th grade participated in the IB program, and this last school year you have 41 students. So there is an increase there compared to the 4 years ago. 11th grade, you have again, the same years, a comparison of the last 4 years, and you see that in 11th grade, there's an increase of 9 students compared to 4 years ago. Again, the increase is also increasing the diploma candidates. In 12th grade, same year comparison, you have 12th grade students participation decreased 2 students compared to 4 years ago. Okay? So a quick look at the data that you had already seen in a table format, and I put it in a visual for your review. So when we look at the IB program, one of the things that we looked at are what are the curriculum options that we have available for all our students at Judson ISD. We have the IB program, and the IB program, there's a description there. I'm not going to read it to you, but you can see that it's a cohort of students, and they take college level courses. We also have a different program. It's advanced placement. And this is also an opportunity for students to earn college level credit. It is an open enrollment. Students choose to enroll in advanced placement. We now have the early college high schools. And this is, students take college curricula in all areas, in all content areas. They can pursue their associate's degree, and they stay in a cohort also. And the dual credit is another option that students have. So they can take college level curricula, and then they can also move on and follow the higher ed timelines for course selection. So as you can see, we have 4 programs in our district that offer students the opportunity to earn college credit. This is a continuation of the description. If you notice in the IB program, the students can earn a minimum of 24 credit hours from public universities in Texas. When you look at advanced placement, they can earn, if they score a 3 or higher, they can get credit for their courses. In the early college, they have up to 60 hours that they can earn. And then dual credit, it varies based on the courses that students take. So if you will look at this, the purpose of this slide is to show you that we have options for our students to select different curriculum, higher ed curriculum. So the options on the table, we have 2. Do we continue the IB program with a reevaluation of participation and performance, or do we discontinue and phase out the IB program? The recommendation and the implications, it's important that before we make a recommendation, we look at the implications. If we continue the IB program, the data from 4 years ago indicates a minor increase of 15 students of the program participants, of the students participating in this program. So it's a minor increase. For the 2016-17 school year, 136 students are projected to participate, a decrease of 4 students from the 15-16 school year. However, again, all students are full diploma candidates. The projected for 2016-17 budget is $57,842. equals to an expenditure of $425 per student. And again, this does not include FTE, the salary of the teachers. The focus must turn to improve performance, especially in IB science courses. So if we were to keep the IB, this is an area we would have to focus on science courses. We would also need to review the staffing and the structure of pre-IB and IB courses. For example, only one conference period per teacher, allow pre-IB courses only in core content areas, and eliminate pre-IB and IB courses with low enrollment. And create a job description for the IB coordinator, because that's not clear, and we saw that in some cases they were not teaching any classes. So the second recommendation and the implications is to discontinue or phase out the IB program. What that means is that we would allow all current juniors and seniors to complete the program. We provide the options to current pre-IB 9th and 10th grade students. The options, again, we have 4. We have the early college, advanced placement, and of course we would have a counseling plan to make sure that the students understand their choices and their implications. This would require an effective communication plan, not only to the students but for the community. And repurpose the funding that we're currently using for the IB program to cover tuition and textbooks for the early college high school program implementation. The administration at this time is recommending option 2, to discontinue and phase out the IB program. That means we would allow our current juniors and seniors to end the program and phase out the IB program. We would not allow new students to enroll in the IB program because it would be in a phase-out stage. And the reason for this, it's some rationale, the data does not support a return for our investment. So with this presentation, we're seeking your support with our recommendation to discontinue the IB program at Judson High School. If approved, we would assemble an IB communication team, and this would be representatives from the campus and the district level to make sure that all students are informed and that students understand that there's options for them to earn college credit. IB is only one of those options. So at this time, I will entertain any questions.
Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I do.
Mr. Flores.
Thank you, Dr. Cantu. I believe that our concern when we were doing our program review was the FTEs, and that we weren't getting our bang for the buck out of those. The program is a good program, don't get me wrong, I don't want to say discontinue it, but somehow those full-time teachers and coordinators, they need to be, how do you put it, they need to be used in other places too, not just, because you have some that aren't teaching any classes, or maybe have 6 students in a class, so somehow I think that's what I was looking to be concerned with here, and the program, I really hate to say get rid of the program, but if that's that's your recommendation, and I know there are I know some parents that have kids in the program, and I know they wouldn't want to see it go away, but we have to do what's best for everybody. And right now I think there's only 2 IB programs in the city, right? And they're MacArthur.
I know there's one other, but I don't know.
I think it's the Northeast. And they do? Okay. Yeah. Okay, but that's all I wanted to say. I was more concerned with the usage of personnel in the program and getting everybody to step up some, and that's,
And Mr. Flores, I just want to say that we did look at all angles. We looked at the personnel, we looked at the resources, we looked at the teachers, the options. The most important thing for us was to make sure that students had options and various options. We didn't want to say that you just have one track to earn college credit. They've got 3 different options to do that. And so we do not believe this would hurt the children in any way. We would not bring that recommendation if it was going to hurt them academically in any way.
But the early college is not really an option now, for those kids that are sophomores now. It's not an option unless you're a freshman.
Yes, the students that are currently there, we're not just going to say we're done with it overnight. We would phase it out, so they would continue to finish that program.
Okay, thank you.
One of the things that we can assure you, Mr. Flores and members of the board, is that the curriculum that we will be offering will continue to remain rigorous, and we'll make sure that our students are prepared for whatever path they want to choose.
I make a motion to amend for option 2. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on option 2? All in favor, say aye. Aye. That's the motion to amend. Okay, for the final one, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Option 2. 5C, consider and take possible action regarding approving dedicating the Judson High School Choir Hall in honor of Miss Kay Sherrill. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Salinas, second, Mr. Flores. Mr. LaFoyle, Mr. Salinas, go ahead.
Go ahead. We received a recommendation from a letter proposed to name the Judson High School in honor of Kay Sherrill, employee that's been there 36 years. And I definitely will be supporting this. I think this would be great. And there was a lot of student support. So definitely, I'm for this. Thank you.
Mr. LaFoyle?
I agree with Mr. Salinas on this. I had 2 or 3 people come up and ask me if we were going to do it this tonight. And I said, it's on the board. And they said they'd be here, but I don't see them out in the audience. So I'll support this.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 5D, consider and take possible action regarding approving the formation of a citizens committee to revise board policy CW local new facilities. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Macias, second.
Second.
We're on 5D. I asked for a motion. Mr. Macias motioned. I said, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by
Yep.
Mr. Macias, this is yours. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Sellier, I'd like to have a committee structured to revisit our naming policy. And so I'd like to solicit input from my colleagues so that we could appoint some members to serve on that committee and put together a recommendation.
Here, I know what you're doing. I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong, but board sets policy, not committees. And when you go down that path of making committees to set board policy, what I would consider like for you to do, if you want to change policy, submit it to the board and change it per our policy. But I think there's a danger in forming committees to set board policy. I have no problem you submitting something to change policy. That's
Well,
not a
it
problem, but
would
the
be
board,
an
the board
advice-
sets policy, not committees.
It would be an advisory type of committee. There would be no authority of the committee to create policy. It would be advisement, and we do have that model throughout the district where we have teachers come together and think about processes.
But not to set policy.
Okay.
We're talking policy. And I know what you, I'll entertain anything you want to submit, but a committee cannot set policy.
Okay, then what I'll do is,
I have no problem putting it on the agenda, but I got to have something to put on the agenda.
okay, I'll go ahead and pull this then for now,
Come
and we'll
anytime,
revisit that.
let me know.
Yeah.
Okay, this pulled. Okay, 5E, consider and take possible action regarding approving the endorsement of the Texas Association of School Board, TASB, Board Director, Position D. Mr. Macias. Oh, we need a motion first. Motion, Mr. Macias, Mr. Salinas, somebody. Mr. Macias, go ahead.
Mr. Sellier, I'd like to recognize that Mr. Westbrook did come in while we were during our meeting from Schertz-Cibolo ISD, so welcome. I put this on the agenda for us to discuss an endorsement. We received a communication from Mr. Westbrook to endorse his candidacy for a Region 20 director position. And so I'd like to ask my colleagues to consider supporting this young man.
I'm for it. Anyone else? Are there any questions? Mr. Salinas, Arnold?
I definitely will be supporting Mr. Westbrook. He's very involved on, we've been together in the one in Austin, sir.
Yes, sir. Legislative advisory.
Oh, yes, the LAC, I'm sorry. I just went blank, I'm sorry. The LAC, and of course, he's very involved with the Bear County Coalition, so definitely, I think Mr. Westbrook would make a tremendous representative, and we're very close, so he'd be representing Judson very closely. Thank you, and hopefully, good luck.
Mr. Flores?
Thank you. I'm going to abstain from this because I may be called the nominating committee at TASB to serve on that as an alternate. So don't take any offense, Robert. Yeah, I just want to be upfront and say that, if I'm on that committee, if I'm an alternate and I'm chosen to be there, somebody can't make it, we'll have to go that route. Okay. Thank you.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
There you go. Thank you. Okay. We need to go in closed session for personnel. Okay. Where am I? Okay. This board will now adjourn into closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meeting Act. Where are we at on this one? Personnel. Code 551.04. No final action or decision about be taken on the board is in closed session. The board shall reconvene the open meeting after closed session if necessary to vote on any decision. We are going out at 7:52. Okay.